An extremely important aspect of any system like this is dealing with groups of contacts. As your customer base grows, as your consultant base grows, you need to start dealing with people in groups so that you can continue communicating with large numbers of people. The previous system, we had what was called the contact lister, and that allowed you to bring up groups of contacts based off of all sorts of data. You could bring up consultants in Kansas. You could bring up your birthdays for the month. You could bring up callbacks. Also, we had 20 direct mail groups where you could create your own groups, as well as the queues. Those were all really just groups of contacts based off of queries. And the new system is much more powerful when it comes to groups, and all of those previous features are now under the umbrella of contact groups. To open the groups window, you click on the contact icon in the main toolbar and select contact groups. First thing about this window is it's a floating window. You can position it anywhere on your screen. You can also resize it, and these are remembered, so when you open it, it'll always open to where you last left it. And first thing you'll notice in groups are most likely your imported groups. You'll have a folder of groups here, and it'll be all your direct mail groups, your queues, family, friends from the previous version. To create a new group, you click on Create New Group, and it's going to open this wizard which steps you through various options. First off, there's two types of groups. There's arbitrary groups and query groups. Arbitrary groups are groups that are similar to the direct mail groups from the previous system, and people are on these groups purely because you want them to be. It's arbitrary. It's not related to any data in their record or things they've bought or birthdays or anything else. They're just on the list because you want them on the list. Query groups are the rest of the groups. That's where you create groups based on data. So give me all my customers whose birthday is in June. Give me all my callbacks for today. Give me all my consultants who live in Toledo. Give me all my customers who have purchased these 6 items, things like that. So to create an arbitrary group, with that selected, you click Next, and you just give the group a name. And you can also select an icon and save. And so now you'll notice you've got your new group here. Now if I double click on a group, that'll open the group. And you'll notice at this point I've got 0 contacts in the group. There's nobody there. Now I can add people to a group by bringing up their contact window, and the arbitrary groups, any arbitrary groups that this contact would be part of, are listed here at the bottom. So I can just click on the bottom and add her to my new group. And so now when I come up and open up my new group, you'll notice I've got Sandra Jones on my new group. Another way to add people to arbitrary groups is to bring up another group of contacts, and then you can highlight people that you want to add. So I'm on the keyboard. If you hold down the Control key, you can highlight various contacts. Again, I'm holding the Control key to do that. And then I can click on this icon here, Add Remove Selected Contacts from Mail Groups. So I can click here, select my new group, and click Add. And that's going to add those 6 contacts now to that group. So now when I open that group, we'll now have 7 contacts in that group. Creating query groups is really pretty much the same deal. Click back here on Open Group and Create New Group. and this time I'm going to select query group. And query groups are a set of conditions. So you need to add a condition, and there's all sorts of various things you can do. First off, we'll do this contact info, and I'm going to do it based on contact types. So say I want a list of all my consultants. I would just select consultants and then next. And these, you can do multiple options here as well, but we'll just stick with consultants and then next. And so far here we've got selecting all contacts where the contact type equals consultant. Now you can add additional conditions. So say I wanted consultants in certain states. I could add a new condition, and we're going to do it based on contact info again, various fields in the contact window, and next. And this time I'm going to select contact fields, and next. And we'll go for states. So let's get everybody whose state equals Kansas. And now you can add additional conditions within here. So I can add or the state field equals, say, Wisconsin. So you get the idea. You can add additional and then next. And so now we're selecting all contacts where the contact type equals consultant and the state equals Kansas or Wisconsin. Now you can also change this to or, and that would give me everybody whose contact type is consultant or any contact whose state is Kansas or Wisconsin. So generally on this level you want to keep this and so that the person meets both conditions. And so with that selected, then I'll just click next, and again we need to name it. So Kansas, comma, Wisconsin consultants, and again we'll select an icon. And so now I've got a new group here, Kansas, Wisconsin consultants. And I can double click and see all the people in Kansas and Wisconsin who are consultants. So that's creating groups, and you're not really limited by the number of groups. Again, you can have up to 200 arbitrary groups, but you're not really limited as far as query groups.